That's a really good one, Fatima. That's a really good one. This is something that gets often overlooked, right? And my only comment on this one, this is probably more of like a DBA task than it is a data engineering task, or maybe even a systems engineer. But otherwise, great story, right? It's great that we are thinking about this because, you know, this is really not a data science task, or at least it's not exclusive to data science. A lot of teams need this, right? But it adds to our timeline, right? Like as a project, to deliver on time, we have to consider stuff like this, right? It would be a mistake on our parts to ignore stuff like this. So this is something that, you know, none of us would do. You know, we would give it, you know, maybe it's like a ticket or a service request to another department, but it's time. It's time that we're going to invest. It's time that's going to slow us down if we don't account for it, or if it's not done on time, or, you know, whatever the case may be, right? So yeah, so I love that you're thinking about that, Fatima. That's really important to account for those types of things, okay? So guys, I may not be highlighting every single one, but I'm definitely reading them. So coding mood, as an ML ops engineer, I want to Dockerize the project so that there is a streamlined and consistent development environment across all systems. Yeah, I like that. I like that one. I like it as a thought. I'm just wondering if that's more of a story or a task. But again, I love that you guys are thinking outside the box, right? You're thinking about the project on a holistic level, which is great, right? Really appreciate that out of all of you. I'm just having trouble whether it's a task or a story. Yeah, Lakshmi, you're also bringing up a good one that was very similar to Usman's submission about model selection. But I appreciate that one, Lakshmi. All right, you know what, guys? Let's move on. I want to go ahead and start talking about tasks. You guys are doing a great job of the stories, right? I think you're slowly starting to get the hang of it, which is great, right? But I think all of you are now kind of, you know, also kind of bordering around story tasks, and that's the tasks of a story, and that's okay too, right? So why don't we start talking about tasks? I think it could be fun, and I think that let's focus on Yassine's submissions, because I think Yassine's submission is, they're really good. So Yassine, maybe as we walk through this, you'll be able to identify what I mean by saying that KNN might be too specific. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and put this one to the side. All right, so for the purposes of the next few minutes, guys, I'm going to leave that on board so we know what the original one was like. But let's focus on this bolded item, because this is our story. And I think it's a well-written story, right? Very, you know, and it's very much in the spirit of what Yassine originally wrote. So let's switch gears, right? Now, start giving me tasks in the comments. What are some of the tasks that we need so that we can enable doing clustering methods? Now remember, tasks have a free form to them. You don't have to follow the format anymore, right? What do you guys want to do? What are the tasks? You just committed to this story. You just committed saying, I'm going to do this story. What are the tasks? What do you guys need? What do you need to do? So start putting them in the chat. Let's see what you guys think is required. We're coming up on 2 hours. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. So tell me, what are you going to do in the next 2 weeks here, guys? Sadowinski, you're on the right track, but we're assuming structured numerical data for the purposes of our project, right? We're working for a financial firm. So our overall assumption, just for pretend, right, is that we're working with structured numerical data. Okay? Okay. Here we go. So Yassine says, first thing I want to do is identify, let's just say 5. What else, guys? Okay, Lalman says conduct data cleaning and feature engineering. Great one, right? I love that one. Okay, Yassine says I want to build a log, right? To keep track of experiments, right? Okay, cool. Okay, Leo, build in, we're going to call it data enrichment, Leo, because, we kind of take data wrangling and enrichment, all of that. Build in data enrichment. Good. Okay, so Osama says use programming libraries. Okay. Yeah, so how do we capture that? You use sklearn to code five clustering methods. Okay, you can do that. How about this one, guys? Oh man, why? We haven't obtained the data, right? So don't forget that. Okay, Fatima says create visualizations on the data. I like that. And we'll just say for skewness and outliers, right? All right. That's a very reasonable list of tasks, right? I think you guys have done a great job of that. So I hope that by doing that, by going through that exercise, you can see that to do all of this just for KNN, probably overkill, right? But doing it for clustering methods in general, that's a lot more reasonable, right? Okay, Coding Mood is saying compare different algorithms. Yeah, that's a great one to finish off with, right? So we already built in the logging, right? In a previous task. Testing algorithm, and then report results back to the team, right? Because you want to be accountable to your results, right? Or, yeah, but guys, this is a very reasonable list of tasks. Could you do this in 2 weeks? Yeah. You know, assuming you have access to the environment and stuff like that, right? You know, the real world kind of, you know, gets in the way sometimes. But can you do this in 2 weeks? Yeah. Right? Can you do it for 5 different items that you're pulling from sklearn? Yeah. We've seen that. We've done that, right? With ChatGPT, right? So this is a very reasonable story and tasks for that story. Like, I would accept this. If you were on my team and you say, hey, this is a story I want to do, and these are the tasks that I've identified,